Так, это вид с нашей гостиницы, с крыши. Ну, тут такой балкончик. Вот, это Рейкьявик. Там вдалеке порт. Стоят корабли.
Reykjavik is the capital and largest city of Iceland. It is located in southwest Iceland, on the southern shore of Faxaflói Bay. Its latitude is 64 degrees 08 in, making it the northernmost capital of a sovereign state in the world. Reykjavik's population in 2023 is about 140,000, up from 121,822 in 2015. The metropolitan area is home to approximately 248,000 people. Reykjavik is believed to be the site of the first permanent settlement in Iceland, which, according to Landnámabók, was founded by Ingólfr Arnarson in 874 AD. Until the 18th century, there was no urban development on the site of the city. The city was officially founded in 1786 as a trading town and grew steadily over the following decades to become a regional and then national center of trade, population and government activity. As well as a popular tourist destination, it is one of the cleanest, greenest and safest cities in the world. According to legend, the first permanent Norse settlement in Iceland was founded in Reykjavik by Ingólfr Arnarson around 870 AD, as described in the Book of Settlements. They say that Ingólfr determined the location of his settlement using the traditional Scandinavian method, when land appeared. He threw his idols overboard and promised to settle where the gods decided to bring them ashore. Two of his slaves then searched the coast for 3 years before finding the pillars in the bay that eventually became the site of Reykjavik. The name is of Old Norse origin and comes from the roots Reykr, smoke, and Vik, bay. Until the 18th century, the site of the modern city center was agricultural land. In 1752, King Frederick V of Denmark donated the Reykjavik estate to the Innréttingar Corporation. The leader of this movement was Skúli Magnusson. In the 1750s, several houses were built to accommodate the wool industry, which was Reykjavik's most important employer and the original reason for its existence for several decades. Innréttingar was involved in other industries such as fishing, sulfur mining, agriculture and shipbuilding. The Danish crown abolished monopoly trade in 1786 and granted 6 communities across the country an exclusive trading charter. Reykjavik was one of them and the only one that consistently adhered to the charter. Thus, 1786 is considered to be the founding date of the city. Trading rights were limited to subjects of the Danish crown, and Danish traders continued to dominate trade in Iceland. In the following decades, their business in Iceland expanded. After 1880, free trade was extended to all nationalities and the influence of Icelandic merchants began to grow. Reykjavik is located in southwest Iceland. Reykjavik's coastline consists of peninsulas, bays, straits and islands. During the Ice Age, about 10,000 years ago, a large glacier covered part of the city, reaching as far as Alphains. The rest of the city was covered with seawater. During warm periods and at the end of the Ice Age, some hills, such as Oskalid, were islands. The previous sea level is evidenced by the reaching sediments. The hills of Askjulid and Skólavörðuhólf are the remains of former shield volcanoes that were active during the warm periods of the Ice Age. After the Ice Age, the Earth rose as the heavy load of glaciers was removed, and began to look like it does today. The capital area continued to be shaped by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. As happened 4,500 years ago in the Blackjall mountain range when lava flowing down the Elida Valley reached the sea at Elidavogur Bay. The largest river that flows through Reykjavik is the Elida River, which is not navigable. Offers salmon fishing within the city. Mount Esja, at 914 meters, 2,999 feet. is the highest mountain in the vicinity of Reykjavik. The urban area consists of low-density suburbs and houses are generally spaced widely apart. The outer residential areas are also widely separated from each other. Between them there are major transport arteries and a lot of empty space. The city's latitude is 64 degrees 08 in, making it the northernmost capital of a sovereign state in the world. Nuuk, the capital of Greenland, is slightly further north at 64 degrees 10 feet, about 4 kilometers. But Greenland is an integral part of the country. Reykjavik has a subpolar oceanic climate closely bordering on a continental subarctic climate in the 0 degrees Celsius isotherm. The city has had its present climate classification since the beginning of the 20th century. At 64 degrees north, Reykjavik is characterized by extremes of day and night length over the course of the year. From the 20th of May to the 24th of July, daylight is essentially permanent as the sun never gets more than 5 degrees below the horizon. Day length drops to less than 5 hours between the 2nd of December and the 10th of January. The sun climbs just 3 degrees above the horizon during this time. However, day length begins increasing rapidly during January and by month's end there are 7 hours of daylight. Despite its northern latitude, temperatures very rarely drop below -15 degrees Celsius, 5 degrees Fahrenheit, in the winter. The proximity to the Arctic Circle and the strong moderation of the Atlantic Ocean in the Icelandic coast shape a relatively mild winter and cool summer. The city's coastal location does make it prone to wind, however, and gales are common in winter. Summers are cool, with temperatures fluctuating between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius, 50 and 59 degrees Fahrenheit, rarely exceeding 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a result of exposure to the maritime winds in its exposed west coast location that causes it to be much cooler in summer than similar latitudes in mainland Scandinavia. Contrasting this, winter days are milder than anywhere in far southern Sweden and the vast majority of Denmark. Reykjavik averages 147 days of rain per year. Droughts are uncommon, although in the summer of 2007, no rain was measured for 1 month. July and August are the warmest months of the year on average, and January and February the coldest. Summer tends to be the sunniest season. Although May averages the most sunshine of any individual month, overall, the city receives around 1,300 annual hours of sunshine, which is comparable with other places in northern and northwestern Europe such as Ireland and Scotland, but substantially less than equally northern regions with a more continental climate, including the Bothnian Bay Basin in Scandinavia. Nonetheless, Reykjavik is one of the cloudiest and coolest capitals of any nation in the world. The highest temperature recorded in Reykjavik was 25.7 degrees Celsius, 78 degrees Fahrenheit, reported on the 30th of July 2008, 21, while the lowest ever recorded temperature was -24.5 degrees Celsius, -12 degrees Fahrenheit, recorded on the 21st of January 1918. The coldest month on record is January 1918, with a mean temperature of -7.2 degrees Celsius, 19 degrees Fahrenheit. The warmest is July 2019, with a mean temperature of 13.4 degrees Celsius, 56 degrees Fahrenheit.